Frank O'Rourke here. It's great to be back here on the Fit Summit panel. Super excited about what we've got planned for today and just really overall just where we are headed as an industry. Had the opportunity recently to attend a few of the industry's most recent trade shows at IRSA and at Dubai Active Show. A lot of positive buzz is coming out of these shows. People are excited about the industry. The industry is back. We've got a lot of exciting stuff happening at Core. We're launching a new cardio platform as we move into next year. We've got some new partnerships that we're going to be talking about as well, and that we'll be announcing just come January, as well as our functional line in Throwdown. We've got a lot of new products that are going to be introducing in the Throwdown category, which is really kind of an exploding new brand for our company and our fifth brand that we've added. Again, super excited to be here with Fit Summit team and some of the industry leaders in MENA as we head out today and enjoy our time here together. Thank you.
Thanks, Frank, and great to be here, ladies and gentlemen. We have an exciting session looking at the Middle East and North Africa region, a region that has been exponentially growing over the past couple of years and seems to have no slowing down. But we've got a great panelists now to talk about this. Not only is Frank joining us, I'll be joined here by George Flooks, the CEO of Fitness First Middle East and North Africa, and also Fahad Alhagbani, the CEO and co-founder of Armah Sports. Let's dig in, George, with you initially. Great to see the Middle East and North Africa rebound so strongly on the back of COVID, or at least it seems that way. Looking at consumer trends, consumer behavior, what have the last few weeks, last few months shown to you?
Hi, Ross. Thanks for that. Thanks for the question. I really believe the GCC countries have bounced back pretty strong. In the UAE in particular, we've had the benefit where we've traded for 1 year without any lockdowns, any disruptions to the market whatsoever. So the UAE is you would say pretty much back to as normal as possible. The rest of the GCC countries have had periodic closures, etc. So they've been a little bit more sporadic. But if I take a macro view as to how we've bounced back, customers have come back. Utilization in the clubs have come back to pre-17, 18 numbers, which is very, very good for us. And what's been their behavior? They, in terms of memberships, everyone's jumped into the short-term packages, the short-term opportunities. Less people are buying lump sum memberships up front. More and more people are going to the monthly rolling options, which is fine for everyone because it's as predicted. There's nothing that's really come as a total surprise. So we had a long time to actually plan for that. In our brand, for example, we've always offered a towel service. So the towel services have disappeared out of the business. And the customer, there's been no questions about it. Everyone's more than happy to bring their own towel, their own facilities. And the behavior of the customer, I find, has actually matured a lot because the propensity to just clean up after yourself now is far greater than it was previously across all the GCC countries that we've noticed. So that's been a real shift. The personal training and group exercise business has really taken off. Group exercise, I think, I really got the feeling that group exercise suffered a lot, and you found that's where most of the activity on the digital platforms were taking place. People just went on demand really quickly. So now that we're open and we're trading, group exercise has spiked and skyrocketed in terms of demand, which for me is absolutely fantastic because statistically we know that those customers actually stay longer. Across the business, I think things have moved on also. People are more holistic now. People are very, very focused more on well-being, holistic living, holistic lifestyles. So any opportunity you get to talk to your members about healthy living, healthy eating, nutrition, how to best take care of yourself, also mentally, besides the physical activity, because coming out of this period, the number of people that actually needed support, mental support in terms of helping them transition from where they were, either into new careers, loss of salaries, financial struggles. There's a whole mental game that's taking place now with not only your customers, but also within your staff. So to move your business on into some holistic platforms has been very, very key. Whoever gets there first will do very, very well, because you're actually shifting the dimension of your business out of traditional sort of, health and fitness clubs. You're more into the health part than you're actually into the fitness part when it comes to the overall, both mental, spiritual, and emotional support. And we find that's happened more in the studios. So, we've also moved a lot of our studios on where we used to be traditionally mind and body studios. We've just gone into everything from hot yoga. We've invested significantly into hot studios, immersive studios with huge digital walls where you can put people in the studios and the members we can put them anywhere they want to be. They can be atop of a mountain, they can be in a forest, they can be under the water with dolphins. It's an amazing experience, but it's all coming back to helping people find their sweet spot, both mentally and physically. So the customer's behavior, they're actually demanding and wanting different things. A lot of them don't know what they want. They just know it's something different. So we've also got to be ahead of the curve and deliver these other initiatives far faster than anyone else. But we've seen a huge success, and we're going to stay very much with the hot yoga, the hot studios, the immersible studios across all our businesses. And I might even put investment into organic growth on hold for a year or two to go back and update the existing facilities to get them on those type of platforms. So a slowdown to become more relevant before a big push on expansion again.
Now, you mentioned obviously great demand coming back in, George, from group fitness and of course personal training. Did you see any one part of your business perhaps slowing down, maybe not so fast to rebound? Or maybe in addition, did you see a part of your business you thought wouldn't make it through COVID? So aside from the towel service, you had the chance to change it then and there for the better.
We've always been confident. What we did was we stayed heavily connected with the member when the clubs were closed. And so once we were connected, we knew what to do when we came back, because of course we didn't charge anyone during that period. We gave away exceptional amount of time back to the customer. So when we opened our doors, we were so heavily vested in communication and connecting with the customer. We felt a high level of normality. I know we discussed many times, things will never be the same. This is the new normal, blah, blah, blah. However, now that things have progressed, you actually think, well, the new normal is actually giving the customers more in the wellness sector than it was previously. So has there been a slowdown? Ross, we run everything. We've got male-only clubs. We've got female-only clubs. We've got mixed clubs. We've got clubs that share a common reception. Men go one way, ladies go the other way. So we've got many different club types, and they've been pretty consistent in terms of customers coming back. Where we have seen real opportunities is in the corporate market. Yeah. So you've got government and you've got big corporates. Governments take a little bit longer to get things moving because they focus on the now and the issues at hand. But big corporates are more inclined to say, this is what our staff are needing. And what we found with our staff and our members, big corporates are finding that with their employees too. So big corporates are really pushing now all opportunities to get their staff more involved in exercise, fitness, mind and body programs. So has there been a slowdown? I haven't looked at it that way. I've looked at the opportunity side, especially in big corporate, because when when you're successful in big corporate, there's a trickle-down effect anyway, and big corporate has an impact on government. So you try and do both. You try and connect with your government bodies, but you can shortcut and get into big corporate, because more and more of them, they actually feel for the first time very obligated to actually give back to their employees. So all of that's actually helped. They help the system to regenerate itself. But specific slowdowns, not really. Actually, more on the take-up side, with big corporate playing a big role for us.
Thanks, George. Great to hear about that. Fahad, what are your thoughts at the moment? Obviously, you're running a series of different clubs, but of course, you've been in the industry for a long time. What are you seeing at the moment in time with your members and customers? What are they buying? What are they consuming? How are they demanding services from you?
Hey, what I see is people are really excited to come back to physical activity, because when the pandemic started, we can see that the whole industry went overnight to digital platforms. But we were thinking as the fitness is going online for a long time. But what we discovered that people are really missing the physical interaction with their clubs and the social aspect of it. Because if you look to our industry, we're not only offering a fitness environment, we're also offering a social environment where people can interact with the staff and interact with among themselves as members. And you can't really replicate this experience. I'm a big fan of technology. I'm a big fan of online platforms, but also we have to remain loyal to our core business, which is the fitness clubs, the brick and mortar, and nothing can really replicate this experience. Now, from the perspective as numbers, we can see that people are excited, and the capacity numbers are going between 60 and 70% in the local market in Saudi. Also in Dubai, I can see that especially in the boutique space, I can see that the big names are getting really, really busy, and the classes are getting fully booked in Dubai. Internationally, we know that the numbers, when the lockdown lift off a few months ago, we can see the numbers started from 50%, but today some of the mature market went up to 75 and 80%.
Thanks, Fahad. George, let me come back to you just now on investment trends. You touched upon the fact you're doing a lot more immersive studios, a lot more work with corporates. How has COVID and this pandemic maybe shifted, altered, stalled your investment plans in the short, mid, and long term? Are they the same as you envisioned a couple of years ago, or did you have to go back and redraw them all?
Ross, very good question, because that's actually everything that the shareholders and owners are talking about strategically. So, of course, during COVID, we all had one strategy: try and generate as much cash as you could to keep the oxygen on and stay alive. Post-COVID now, the business is starting to generate enough cash to more than fund itself and look at further investments. However, I believe there's a pause, and we're taking a pause. We've opened 5 clubs this year. We'll open the 5th one on the 15th of December. However, those were leases that we were tied into pre-COVID. So we redesigned those leases and we continued with that rollout. However, moving forward, I'm looking at probably 12 to 18 months where the CapEx, the free cash that we generate that'll go into CapEx, I will spend significant amount of that, if not all of it, on what we've learned in COVID to upgrade and make the original estate more relevant to the key topics that are on members and prospects' minds today. So to answer your question, I think organic growth will have a slowdown. If it's a blue chip and it's one we've always wanted, we'll go for it. Expanding into new territories, that will be a slowdown for the time being. However, getting our existing estate will be our number one priority in terms of upgrading the relevance of the current facilities into the future. So it's a little bit of everything, but the priority will be on the existing estate.
Thanks, George. Fahad, back to you on this. Obviously, you're investing significantly now across the region. You obviously had plans to do so a number of years back, but given the pandemic, similar question to George, how has the last 18 to 24 months, how has that played a role in restructuring how you look at investing going forward?
When we started our strategy or our new company after exiting our previous business, we set the strategy in 2019. And then when COVID started, we all understand that it was a big shift in the industry. A lot of dynamic changes happened. We were happy that our strategy didn't change that much. We tweaked out our strategy a bit, but the question is why our strategy didn't change? Because in 2019, we planned for the future and we invested heavily in technology. Today we work as 50% technology company and 50% fitness company. Everything we did in the last few years was really investing in building the infrastructure of technology. We understand that COVID changed the perspective of the fitness industry, maybe to more digital direction, but we were already investing in technology and in digital space. Today, there are some new terms came up to the fitness industry, which is hybrid model, phygital model, and more holistic model. But what we were really planning to is a wellness strategy that's also covering the mental health aspect. But we increase the investment in the mental health aspect because we think that mental health and physical health are going aligned together actually for the future. As you know, we are building smart clubs. We opened our first model last week, but we will talk about this maybe more in different occasions.
George, you touched on this already, the need to be more holistic in how you're delivering services, the demand for consumers now to be more lifestyle, consumer orientated. How does that play a role in how you're developing your own service line? Do you think now you move away from more traditional fitness into maybe more lifestyle and wellness? It's obviously a balance, but how are you balancing that internally?
Ross, absolutely, it's both. You have to do both. You know, we find if you just go in one direction, you end up you miss out on some huge opportunities. So if you take your opportunities, because everyone's grown both individually and as a business on the digital side, we were just forced to. Some of us were 50-50, but now you're totally in and you're totally immersed in it. So your opportunities to connect your digital platforms to a broad range of different products has become easier over time, because we've now had the ability to step back and look at the business from a 360 perspective. So if I start with a digital platform that we've launched, everything on the platform is available. So once you've sorted your product out, well, not only is supplements available, not only is nutrition bookings available, not only is holistic type classes available, we've even started to introduce now meditation classes. We've even gone into vibrational classes, sound and vibration classes. That's all available on the app. We've gone even a step further where we've stepped outside of the fitness box, and now we've partnered with an events company where on our tile, on the app, you have one tile, you can click on it, and it takes you to all the events that are happening across the UAE, for example. So if you remember and you want to participate in a running event, a rowing event, a swimming event, a mountain biking event, an endurance running event in the mountains, everything is linked to one platform. So we're giving not only the members, but everyone the opportunity to be connected to all activities that are going on, be it just in the wellness platforms or be it in the real physical activity platforms, which for us, we've just launched. We're hugely excited about it, actually. We've just launched it a couple of days ago, and we'll see what the traction looks like over the next couple of months. But you've got to go 360, Ross. You've got to get it all in. It takes time, but you've got to incorporate everything that's happening internally in your business, and then everything that's happening externally. Ultimately, it's in the name, it's in health and fitness, and it's there for everyone. And it's our ability to connect it, which I believe not only benefits the entire industry, but the entire population. It gives people awareness. If you have one platform that has 100 events on, it just gives people the opportunities to choose, but more importantly, to help them stay fit and healthy, because they've got these various options. So that's been very good for us, provided we do all the other. We'll be selling equipment to people at homes. If you want to stay at home and have a spin session, but you don't want to pay lots of money for some of the other providers that are out there, that's available. So it's how you incorporate a 360 approach in the entire landscape.
Thanks, George. Frank, this is a good time to bring you in. Not only did we touch on equipment, but let's touch on digital fitness and wellness. When you're looking at it through the hat of Core Health and Fitness, one of the world's most recognized fitness brands, sitting on the equipment side, how are you viewing digital fitness and wellness, Frank, and where are Core investing in this marketplace?
Thank you, Ross. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's no secret. I mean, virtual and digital, it's here to stay. And, we've invested in this, I would say, on the front end and also, very much on the back end. And what I mean by that is on the front end, from an education platform, we were one of the first companies to really come out with a complete online offering of all of our education courses. So while people were locked in and shuttered in their homes, they were able to use our education platforms to get certified. And in many cases, the trainers were still being compensated. They were not let go in many countries. And so this was an opportunity for, staff development for trainings using our education programs. And that's one area. As we go into next year on the front end as well, we certainly are looking at introducing new platforms of our digital platforms that along our cardio consoles, as well as a virtual bike that will allow us to communicate with people both in the club and out of the club. On the back end, we've actually introduced our service training applications. So for the service side of the business, many of our distribution partners and or end customers are certainly utilizing our services there on the back end of the business, where we put hours of training that will allow them to come in and do services in that way as well. So we certainly are excited about the future of what digital and virtual will do for us as a company. And we eventually are looking at some acquisition targets as well. And so those acquisition targets could certainly involve some digital companies that are true experts in this. And as opposed to making partnerships, we certainly will have some potential opportunities to acquire companies that focus specifically on this space as well.
Okay, well, look, the virtual bike sounds interesting, Frank. Sign me up for one of those as soon as it's ready. Look forward to trying it. George, let me bring you in here, because Frank mentioned a good point here, which is, using digital for education. We talk a lot about digital fitness and wellness and its application for the consumer and the member. When you're looking at it from an internal company point of view, you're obviously upskilling your staff, you do work remotely, you're trying to manage teams. How do you view digital education overall?
Ross, we actually at the moment, we're on the one side of the fence and heavily invested in the digital for our staff. How we incorporated, it's phase 2 of our digital strategy to bring the different platforms available now to the members. The one thing we have in the Middle East is all your platforms need to be in a number of different languages, especially when we step out of the UAE. Kuwait is pretty much Arabic speaking. Saudi, for example, more than 70% of our personal trainers only speak Arabic. So, which means your customer base is pretty similar at the end of the day, your member base. So we've been in contact with Active IQ is who we partner with. And they've done an incredible job for us over the last couple of years, where now we've managed to get content from English into Arabic. So that becomes the phase 2 for us, because now we set up that we can communicate not only internally, which we've done because we run our own internal academy in terms of training and education, both live, both digital. We also we develop, we have our own creative side where we develop our own signature programs, and we create the content, we choreograph it, we create our own master trainers, and people that qualify for it are also, they qualify for the CPD points through reps on those programs. But that's the one side. That's what we do internally, and we've been doing that very successfully. Coming back to the broader market, now that we've Active IQ have had the ability to translate into the different languages, we will then add that to the digital platform, where we'll allow personal trainers to actually share different content with customers, everything around education to just, top tips on nutritional facts, etc., through the different languages. But that will once again be driven on our platform to our customers. So it's a phase 2, but a big part of the phase 2 is already complete, which is the ability to convert into the different languages.
Thanks, George. Fahad, what are your thoughts at the moment on digital? Obviously, not just front-facing, but in the back end. Where are you investing for member experience? Where are you investing to make sure that the company is strengthened from within?
As I mentioned before, when COVID started, the whole industry shifted to the online platform like overnight. But what I can say here is digital is here to stay. It's only going to grow, and this is only the beginning of it. But then we have to find the right balance between what we offer to the members on the ground and what we offer to them on the digital space. And this will really depend on each market. You cannot take one model and just copy it to all markets. It depends on the needs of every market. So I suggest to fitness operators to understand their market needs, their member needs, and also their strategy. You can't compete really with content creators. If you want to create great content, you have to really invest in this. You have to build a special department for content creation. What we've really done is we partnered with a third party who has already an online platform. They're focused on it, and they continue to improve it. While what I do is I focus on my core business. I build my clubs and I serve my members. This is what we chose as a strategy. And at the end of the day, you have to find the right balance between what you do as business and what you do on the digital space. If you take some of the successful online platforms, it's very hard to compete with them because this is their focus and this is what they really do. And they continue to improve it every day. So too much content is a distraction from what you're really doing. So again, I suggest that everyone to focus on the balance between the physical offering and the digital offering. What we're really doing right now is, as I told you, we're building the smart clubs. Everything is connected in the smart clubs. We are big fan of the concept of the Internet of Things. So different physical and digital items in the space we have are talking to them to each other in an ecosystem. But also we're trying to do is to keep the member connected inside the club and outside the club as well. And this is our belief of digital service. Digital service is not only at-home workout, because you have at-home workout solutions and you cannot compete with this as well. But in order to give the member the real experience, you need to make sure that he's connected inside the club, outside the club, maybe at his home or office, or maybe when he's traveling outside the country. So this is how I put it.
Thanks, Fahad. Great insights as always. Let's turn the conversation now to partnerships and collaboration. George, you touched on this earlier on with Active IQ. So much you can do now in the marketplace to strengthen your business internally and externally. Frank, I'm going to come to you first. where are you focusing on partnerships? Obviously, there is a plethora you could make across the globe, but where are you now focusing your efforts to try and build partnerships for better engagement? And is there certain examples you can share over the past 18 months that have worked for you?
Yes, thank you, Ross. Absolutely. So, we've got a handful of long-term partnerships that we've had and that we've worked with very successfully over the years. I mean, MyZone, the group at MyZone and the actual tool that we use there, they've been a strong partner of ours that, really pretty much from the beginning and creation of their company, we've worked with for that long. And it's a great partnership, and we're continuing to enhance that as we move into next year to integrate with our consoles. In addition to that, for several years now, we've been working with Motosumo as well. Again, a great partner in reference to our indoor cycling bikes. It allows you to utilize your phone as a console on the bikes to get, some basic metrics. And that certainly was brought into the home during the pandemic with that partnership with Motosumo, which went very well. As we go into next year, we actually are excited to announce here at the beginning of the year that we partnered with Sony Advogym. And we're quite excited actually about that partnership that is up and coming. We're currently testing in a handful of sites right now and getting that final data in for a proper release, but that will be coming up just as we approach and hit the new year. Sony Advogym, for those of you who don't know, it's just an app, and it's used for your strength and your cardio machines to track your members' usage. It also allows the owners and the managers of the facility to access that data to understand the metrics and how the machines are being utilized and so forth. But certainly partners are a big part of Core Health and Fitness. We're very proud of that fact that we work and support other companies in the industry and not just our own. And we're certainly open to new partnerships as we move into 2022.
Thanks, Frank. And George, over to yourself. You mentioned the fact that you've already created so many partnerships, but again, when you're looking down at the new universe and you're seeing the strength and breadth of services now, from corporate wellness to medical wellness to wellness itself, I mean, you could endlessly be chasing partnerships. What are you focusing on, and what have you been successful in the past couple of years?
So Ross, besides the obvious ones, which are around the equipment suppliers, let me put them aside for the time being. The ones that are pretty unique, let me start with the unique ones. In terms of the medical facilities and the medical profession, the medical knowledge that's available, that everyone's looking for some additional information right now. So, for example, we've partnered. We have a doctor who actually is on all our digital platforms and in a number of different languages, keeps updating and advising members around the current situation, how to stay healthy, where to focus, be it on sanitizing, on eating healthy, on wearing a mask, on not wearing a mask, on social distancing. So we actually have a medical expert that we've partnered with, that we've incorporated into our business. And this is also a comfort blanket for a lot of our members, that they know we take it serious, but you're not hearing it from Fitness First, and you're not hearing it from the government, you're actually hearing it from a medical professional. So that's pretty unique, I think, and it's available on our platforms. Nutrition, we have a partner, Z&M is our partner. They're across all our clubs. They come out, they do talks, they do different incentive programs through the PTs. So nutrition is pretty cemented into our business. When it comes to connectivity with a customer, MyZone, we've been with MyZone and Dave Wright's product for the last 10 years. Magnificent product. And we drive that across our business. It's not just something you purchase and you put it on and off you go. We're continually driving different initiatives, different events. When it comes to events outside of the business, MyZone is always a key promoter for us. So whether we're involved with the Spartan Championships, we make sure that MyZone gets a top of line focus, because you can always get this at Fitness First. And then around education, it's Active IQ. who's our partner there. So I believe we have a nice balance across our business, from a little bit unique to some of the absolute obvious. And then we go deep into supporting government initiatives. So take the Sports Council here and in all the other countries too. The big talking point right now is the 30-30 workouts for 30 minutes in 30 days. We immerse ourselves in supporting and partnering with the government on these different programs. We're also supporting the government in terms of how to bring clubs back. We're happy to run experiments for them in terms of, do we move social distancing from 3 meters to 2 meters? Let's test it in our clubs so that we stay in a very collaborative mindset and show that everyone actually works together. So government is a huge partner for us. And then the obvious ones come to big corporates, schools. You know, November, everyone knows it's all been about pink and awareness. You know, we've run the Pink Party activities through schools, through businesses, on the beach, through our clubs. So you've got to spread that net today as far as you can and partner with everybody that adds value to your business. Specifically the big ones, the more influential ones, but don't forget the little guy, because he's also out there trying to get his business back up and running. So, you know, throw something that way too, because ultimately the ecosystem needs to come together. So huge number of partners, but I've mentioned the real major strategic ones on this talk.
Thanks, George. Fahad, over to you. Of course, as George mentioned, there's the opportunity to work with regional, national, even international partners. Where have you focused your time in trying to make sure that the new brands you're bringing to the marketplace have got the most amount of distribution and the most amount of engagement?
You said something important, which is we really like to differentiate ourselves. To be competitive in the next phase of the new generation of the fitness clubs, you have to be unique. And this is why we came up with the idea of smart clubs. But alongside the smart clubs, we are really conscious about some things that are good for humanity. Let me talk first about our partnership with the local government body to gain the LEED certificate. LEED is the leadership in energy and environmental design, which really focuses on energy optimization and energy efficiency, where we're talking about lighting, water consumption. We are really conscious about this. So we are getting our first LEED certificate in 6 weeks. We're in the final process of signing off. The other part is, since COVID started, the talk about mental health didn't stop growing more and more. So we went out to see who's the best partner who can help us to raise the awareness about mental health. Because if you talk about mental health in a very mature markets like Europe or the States, I think it's a common thing to talk about. But in Saudi, it's very, very low in terms of awareness. So we signed with Minderful. It's a company out of the UK, fairly new, maybe 2+ years in the market. And we're going to be in exclusive partnership with them in the Saudi market. And they're going to really help us to raise the awareness about mental health, whether among our staff or among our members. They're going to use our digital platform, whether it's the website or mobile app or any form of digital channels, or they also communicated through their channels. And also they will visit us occasionally here in Saudi to speak with the members and to do some sort of mental health awareness events. The last thing I want to say is we run a paperless environment and single-use plastic free environment. For the paperless environment, we signed with one application to transform all our forms, whether it belongs to operations or to maintenance, to transform them to digital forms. So all the internal communications happening through the company on the ground, in the clubs, is going through digital forms. We're not using papers anymore.
Thanks, Fahad. Great to see so many partnerships lined up, big, medium, and small. Into our closing furlong, gents, and a good question to kind of almost wrap things up here. Frank, let me come to you. Obviously, you've got a global hat, core or a global brand, but part of that is the entire MENA region. When you're looking over this region, the number of customers coming out of this is incredible. The number of capital coming into this market is incredible. Where do you see growth opportunities, Frank, for core health and fitness?
Yes. Well, I guess, first, personally, my growth opportunity was to be living here, but COVID changed that as I left Singapore there with you, but certainly plan to be here just because of exactly what you're asking is, we saw early on a couple of years ago that this region was going to be a fast growing region for fitness. It's a very, speaking specific to the entire market of MENA, it's just a nascent market. You've got minimal penetration rates right now. They're looking to double within 5 years. You're looking to double the revenue that's going to be happening here. And I really believe that there's multiple markets that we're going to see significant growth opportunities in. KSA, certainly with the opening and loosening of some of the restrictions is bringing in a lot of foreign investment. And it's going to, allow people to relocate there and just have a little bit more of a comfortable lifestyle that will certainly embrace and endorse, health and wellness. And that's going to require fitness centers. The opening of the women's only gyms that really started just a few years back. We've seen explosive growth in women's only gyms in KSA. So that's been a very strong area for us that we know that will continue with our partner there in country. UAE, of course, I would say is probably the most mature market that I've been able to travel to here, but I still think that we're going to see good growth here, in the marketplace here throughout the UAE. Moving over to North Africa, Egypt has really delivered strong and is continuing to have some significant year-over-year increases. And then you've got a couple of what I would say almost like sleeper countries, and they might not get a lot of visibility, but even places like Tunisia and Morocco, where you're having some franchises come in from Europe that we've recently completed, like Fit20 has just opened in Morocco, and we're starting to see some pretty solid growth out of what you consider to be smaller, insignificant countries. From an education standpoint, we certainly want to look at developing our education. We believe that it's an underserved need here. And I think that that's another really big growth opportunity for us with our master instructor team. We've added 2 master instructors in the region this year, and we would like to continue to do that. So that's another growth opportunity for us. We're certainly working closely with the UAE reps group and team here to make sure all of our courses are rep certified. And we believe that will be another nice growth area for us in the region.
No, there's lots of exciting opportunities, Frank, to work on there. George, swinging over to yourself. You touched on many, I assume already, working with governments, working with corporates. There's lots more engagement across the wider region, but you do have a large hat and you have been here for a number of years. So you have successfully made so much growth already. Is it tapped out? Do you think there's a lot more to come? And if so, where do you think is most exciting?
So Ross, on 2 fronts. One is, how do we grow our revenue per member? Ultimately, we've got to do that. You can push membership so far and you can push your pricing so far. It'll go up, it'll come down, it'll settle somewhere, and that's what you'll end up having over a period of time. So there's growth opportunities here because the market's so different. So take, for example, paddle tennis. You don't see it in any of the other countries around the world, but it's a significant product over here. So we're actually incorporating, let's say, paddle tennis facilities. We're opening 7 paddle tennis facilities in the next 3 months across our business. That's available to non-members and to members. Now, the target audience in paddle tennis is significantly different to the guy running on your treadmill, and it's a game played by 4 people. So the ability to keep a connection, to keep a family together, to keep young couples together, to keep different age groups together, have access to the facilities, play paddle tennis, enjoy the facilities afterwards. This is all revenue per member add-ons. So this is also what I touched on earlier, staying relevant to your market. If you can get there first, it'll add some huge value to your business. And this is across GCC. It's a real GCC product. So we focus on the smaller detail in terms of how we can grow that revenue per member. And the macro environment, we've got access to 13 countries across the GCC and North Africa. There's basically three models. We're in the upper mid-markets model at the moment. We've got the opportunity to franchise. We've signed our first franchise agreement in Pakistan. So there's certain countries which we will only franchise in, and then we'll expand ourselves into the budget model. That I'll sit and observe for a while because the market here is pretty different and the customer is pretty different. So there's a broad range of opportunities. And the biggest opportunity is that in the Middle East, in the GCC, we're not laden with bureaucracy. We're not, you look at the first world countries, they can't really move because there's too many opinions in governments and parliaments, etc. The Middle East doesn't operate like that. It's absolutely one of the biggest opportunities we have here, that the countries can move significantly faster than anywhere else globally that I've had the opportunity to see. So in those opportunities, because if you've got your franchise model ready, you can move really fast. If you've got your budget model ready, you can move really fast. And things will always stay ahead of the curve here versus in Europe or the westernized countries that things will take a little bit longer. So various platforms, revenue per member, growth, different models. I think it's all on the table. You decide which one's appropriate and when. So for me, it's all upside, especially in the short term. I wouldn't tell you what my 5-year plan is because understanding what the 2-year plan is challenging enough. So short term, some real opportunities. So I'm very bullish about this market and the opportunities.
Thanks, George. We've got a couple of minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. So let's just ask the panelists one final 30-second blast. George, looking ahead, obviously you see growth, but what else are you excited about coming into the marketplace from a business or personal perspective?
So from a personal perspective, everyone living here doesn't want to go anywhere else. They understand they're in a magnificent place. They're very grateful for being here. And with that comes a lot of opportunities just because the motivations are different and the energy is significantly higher. So from a personal perspective, well-positioned and in the perfect place to take advantage of the opportunities that are here. From a business perspective, I really think the sky's the limit. If you've got great owners and you're generating cash, you can go in many different directions across the GCC. I would just say, absolutely do your homework first and foremost. And the opportunities are endless. There's male only, there's low cost, there's budget, there's ladies only, there's franchise opportunities, there's different products, there's collaboration that's begging from everyone across all sectors, all countries. So the opportunities are endless. So it's a great place to be, Ross.
Thanks, George. Frank, over to you. What excites you most, my friend, looking into the future?
You bet. Well, first, I would say just, on a personal note, it's getting reconnected. As these countries open up and just giving us the ability to be able to travel and not be concerned about potentially getting traveling somewhere and being, locked in and quarantined on arrival and so forth. I think that just observing, a couple of trade shows firsthand in October and seeing people that were connecting that haven't seen each other in, up to 20 months, it was really exciting to see that people just enjoyed, making those connections and reconnecting. So certainly from a personal standpoint, I'm super excited about, just connecting with people as we're able to travel again, moving into next year. And overall, from a business perspective, I think that, just hearing people like George and people like Fahad, share about their positivity on the marketplace. Everyone seems to be bullish. I mean, it's a common theme that I know as we're doing our planning, we as sales leaders for the manufacturers feel good that we're getting such positive vibes from leaders like, this panel that's coming in. So that's very exciting to go into next year, knowing that everyone feels the future is bright for fitness and health.
Thanks, Frank. And the final word, Fahad, to you. What are your thoughts? What's keeping you excited about tomorrow's marketplace?
I'm very passionate about fitness. I love it to a point where I wake up every day excited about what this industry brings to us. If you look in the past, and you're more experienced than anyone, if you look to the past, the evolving pattern of the fitness industry was going in a very slow motion. It really got accelerated in the last 5 years. And today you cannot catch up with the new trends and with the new digital platforms that are coming up. And I believe we help each other as a fitness industry. So I don't look for the digital platform as a competitor. I look for them as a complementary for our offerings. Back to the point when you talked about the digital platforms and we said they're here to stay and what are the features. When I read about metaverse and what Facebook is doing and now Nike is doing, this is really what excites me the most. I was so much excited about virtual reality and augmented reality, but now we have the metaverse on the horizon. And we shouldn't really think about tomorrow or next week. We should think about metaverse. We should really think about the future. And for me personally, since it's my passion, I grow every day with this industry. And what really helped me grow is my RICS community, because we help each other grow on a personal level and a business level as well.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes a fantastic panel. My thanks to George, my thanks to Frank, and also to Fahad. As Frank just mentioned in the previous question, everyone on this panel is very bullish about the future for the Middle East and the North American marketplace. The GCC is on the rise, and long may that continue. There's a huge number of companies coming in to help a huge number of people. And for anyone working in the health, fitness, and wellness marketplace there, it truly is a very, very exciting time to be involved in the industry. Thanks very much for your time and look forward to seeing you again. Take care, folks, and bye-bye.